There is a certain kind of person who walks among us. They work the same jobs, live in the same neighborhoods, drive the same cars. You pass them in the grocery store, sit beside them in meetings, maybe even share a meal with them. But what you cannot see is the empire they are quietly building behind the veil of ordinariness. They have mastered something ancient, something Machiavelli himself would have admired. The ability to accumulate wealth without triggering the most dangerous emotion in human nature, envy. Machiavelli understood that power is most secure when it is invisible. He wrote that a prince must learn to appear one way while being another entirely. In the modern world, this translates directly to wealth. The moment people know you have money, everything changes. Friends become parasites. Family becomes entitled. Strangers become resentful. Your success transforms from an asset into a target painted on your back. This is why the truly wealthy have always operated in silence. The Rothschilds built a banking empire so quietly that by the time anyone realized their influence, it was already woven into the fabric of nations. The Rockefellers accumulated their fortune while appearing as humble oil merchants, never revealing the full scope of their control until it was too late for competitors to respond. They understood what most people never will. Wealth announced is wealth endangered. Today, you are going to learn the 9 hidden rules that allow you to build real wealth without anyone knowing. These are not the rules taught in business schools or self-help seminars. These are the rules whispered in the halls of power, practiced by those who understand that the game of wealth is won not by who earns the most, but by who protects what they have accumulated. By the end of this, you will understand how to move through the world as an ordinary person, while secretly constructing a financial fortress that no one can see, touch, or destroy. Let's begin with the first rule, the one that protects everything else you will ever build. Rule number 1 is to master the art of appearing ordinary. Machiavelli wrote that men judge generally more by the eye than by the hand, for everyone can see but few can feel. What he meant is that people assess your power based on what they can observe, not on what actually exists. This is your greatest advantage. While everyone else is performing wealth, you will be accumulating it. The modern world has trained people to broadcast their success. A promotion means a new car. A bonus means a luxury vacation plastered across social media. A raise means upgrading everything in sight. This is financial suicide disguised as celebration. Every time you announce progress, you activate the envy of those around you. Envy is not a passive emotion. It seeks to destroy what it cannot possess. Consider the colleague who suddenly becomes cold after learning about your raise. The friend who stops inviting you to gatherings once they see your new home. The family member who begins treating every conversation as an opportunity to ask for money. These are not coincidences. They are predictable human responses to perceived inequality. The solution is simple. Do not let them perceive it. Drive a car that blends into traffic. Wear clothes that suggest competence, not wealth. Live in a home that is comfortable but unremarkable from the outside. When people ask how you are doing, give them the same answer everyone else gives. Busy, getting by, managing. Let them believe you are one of them, struggling through the same challenges, earning the same modest income. Meanwhile, behind this facade, you are building something they cannot imagine. This is not about deprivation. You can enjoy your wealth privately. The home you live in can be beautiful on the inside. The vacations you take can be luxurious, just do not document them for public consumption. The meals you eat can be exquisite, just do not choose restaurants where you will be seen by those who measure your worth. Wealth is meant to provide freedom and security, not applause. The Medici family understood this perfectly. While they controlled the papacy, funded wars, and shaped European politics, they presented themselves as simple bankers. Their palaces were magnificent inside but modest in exterior design. They wore fine clothes but not ostentatious ones. They accumulated power by appearing humble, and by the time their rivals understood the depth of their influence, it was far too late to challenge them. You must do the same. Every dollar you save from not upgrading your lifestyle is a dollar that works for you in silence. Every moment you resist the urge to show off is a moment you protect yourself from envy, manipulation, and theft. The goal is not to look poor. The goal is to look average, unremarkable, forgettable, because the person no one notices is the person no one targets. Now, once you have mastered the appearance of ordinariness, you must turn your attention to the second rule. This is where most people fail, not because they lack money, but because they lack the discipline to deploy it correctly. Rule number 2 is to move your money before it decays. Machiavelli believed that fortune favors the bold, but boldness without strategy is recklessness. Your money is not meant to sit idle. Every dollar that remains in a checking account is a soldier standing still on the battlefield, vulnerable to inflation, taxation, and time. The wealthy understand this instinctively. They move their money constantly, not out of greed, but out of necessity. Think of money as a living organism. It either grows or it dies. There is no neutral state. $100 today will not have the same purchasing power in 10 years. Inflation is the silent thief that robs you while you sleep, and it does so with the approval of governments and central banks. The only defense is to transform your cash into assets that appreciate faster than inflation can erode them. This is why the elite invest immediately. When Warren Buffett receives dividends, he does not let them accumulate in a savings account. He redeploys them into new investments before the day ends. When real estate moguls collect rent, they funnel it into additional properties, renovations, or debt reduction. They understand that wealth is not a pile of money. It is a system of perpetual motion. You must adopt the same mindset. Every paycheck you receive should already have a destination before it arrives. A portion goes to living expenses, yes, but another portion must flow directly into assets. Index funds, real estate, bonds, private businesses, anything that generates returns without requiring your constant attention. The goal is to build a machine that produces wealth while you focus on other things. But here is where most people make a fatal mistake. They confuse activity with strategy. They jump from one investment to another, chasing trends, following gurus, hoping to get rich quickly. This is not boldness. This is panic disguised as ambition. Machiavelli warned that he who builds on the people builds on mud. In financial terms, this means do not follow the crowd. The masses are always wrong about wealth because they operate on emotion, not logic. Instead, commit to a strategy that is boring, repeatable, and proven. Automate your investments so that money moves from your account into assets without requiring willpower. Set up recurring purchases of index funds. Establish automatic transfers into high-yield savings or brokerage accounts. Build systems that function whether you are motivated or not, because discipline is not about feeling inspired. It is about creating structures that remove the need for inspiration. The Venetian merchants understood this principle centuries ago. They did not send one ship and hope it returned with treasure. They sent dozens, knowing that some would sink, some would be raided, but enough would return to make the entire venture profitable. This is diversification. This is the ancient wisdom of spreading risk while maintaining consistent action. Your investments should mirror this approach. Not all will succeed, but the system itself will carry you forward. And this brings us to the third rule, one that separates the wealthy from the merely comfortable. Because it is not enough to move your money, you must also disappear from the places where your wealth can be observed, judged, or stolen. Rule number 3 is to embrace total digital silence. Unless your income depends on public attention, unless you are building a brand that requires visibility, you must vanish from the digital stage. Social media is a trap designed to extract your privacy, your time, and your strategic advantage. Every post you make is a data point. Every photo you share is a clue. Every update you broadcast is an invitation for others to measure, envy, and manipulate you. Machiavelli taught that the wise prince conceals his intentions until the moment of action. In the modern world, this means you must stop announcing your moves, stop posting about your wins, stop hinting at your investments, stop documenting your lifestyle. The people who need to know about your success already do. Everyone else is simply gathering intelligence they will use against you later. Consider what happens when you post a photo of a new car, a vacation, or a home renovation. Friends congratulate you publicly while privately calculating what you must be earning. Family members begin forming expectations about what you should contribute to their needs. Acquaintances start positioning themselves to ask for favors, loans, or opportunities. You have not gained anything from this visibility. You have only painted a target on yourself. The truly powerful operate in shadows. They use private accounts with no personal information. They avoid tagging locations, sharing financial details, or discussing their investments in public forums. When they do appear online, it is with carefully curated neutrality. Nothing flashy, nothing revealing, nothing that suggests wealth or power. They understand that in a world where information is currency, privacy is the ultimate asset. This is not paranoia, this is strategy. Every piece of information you withhold is leverage you retain. Every detail you keep private is a door you have closed to manipulation. The less people know about your finances, your plans, your resources, the less they can use against you. Silence is not weakness, silence is control. Now, some will argue that sharing success is motivating, that it builds accountability, that it creates community. These are lies told by people who need validation more than they need wealth. Real accountability happens in private, with a mentor, a partner, or a trusted advisor. Real community is built with people who respect your discretion, not demand your transparency. And real motivation comes from progress, not applause. So delete the apps, stop the updates. Let your social media presence fade into irrelevance. If people ask why you are not posting anymore, tell them you are taking a break, focusing on other things, trying to be more present. They will forget about you within a week, and that is exactly what you want. Because while they are performing for likes, you will be building in silence. This leads us directly to the fourth rule, one that transforms how you think about time, effort, and the very structure of wealth itself. Rule number 4 is to build systems that multiply money while you sleep. Machiavelli observed that a prince must secure his state through fortresses, alliances, and strategic positioning. In financial terms, your fortresses are automated systems that generate income without your active involvement. The wealthy do not trade time for money. They build machines that produce money regardless of whether they are working. This is the difference between earned income and passive income. Earned income requires your presence. You stop working, you stop earning. Passive income, on the other hand, flows from assets you have positioned correctly. Real estate generates rent. Dividend stocks distribute profits online. Businesses sell products while you sleep. These are not fantasies. These are the standard tools of anyone who has truly escaped financial dependence. But here is what most people misunderstand. Passive income is not passive to build. It requires intense focus, strategic investment, and disciplined execution at the beginning. You must sacrifice short-term comfort to construct long-term systems. This is where most people fail. They want the results without the architecture. They want the income without the investment. Consider rental properties. The wealthy buy real estate not because they love being landlords, but because they understand that property generates consistent cash flow, appreciates over time, and provides tax advantages. The initial work is significant, finding the property, securing financing, managing tenants, but once the system is in place, it runs with minimal intervention. The rent comes in every month whether you think about it or not. The same applies to dividend investing. When you build a portfolio of stocks that pay dividends, you are creating a stream of income that requires no labor. The companies do the work, you collect the profits. Over time, as you reinvest those dividends, the system compounds. Your income grows without additional effort. This is how generational wealth is built, not through salary, but through ownership. Machiavelli would have recognized this immediately. He understood that power is not about personal strength, but about controlling resources that generate strength on your behalf. A prince does not fight every battle himself. He commands armies. You do not earn every dollar yourself. You command assets. So the question becomes, what systems are you building right now? What assets are you positioning to generate income while you focus on other things? If the answer is none, then you are still trapped in the mindset of labor. You are still trading time for money, and time is the one resource you can never recover. Start small if you must. A single dividend stock, a small online business, a rented room in your home. The size does not matter at the beginning. What matters is that you begin constructing the infrastructure of passive income. Because every system you build is a step toward financial sovereignty, and sovereignty is the ultimate goal. Now, once your systems are in motion, you must protect them. This brings us to the fifth rule, and it is one that most people discover too late, only after they have lost something valuable. Rule number 5 is to create legal structures that shield your wealth. Machiavelli taught that a wise ruler fortifies his position before enemies arrive. In the modern world, those fortifications are legal entities. LLCs, trusts, corporations. These are not just tools for the ultra-wealthy. They are essential defenses for anyone accumulating assets. Here is what most people do not realize. When you own property, investments, or businesses in your personal name, you are exposed. A lawsuit, a divorce, a creditor, any of these can strip you of everything you have built. Wealthy avoid this by separating ownership. They create legal barriers between themselves and their assets so that even if one area is attacked, the rest remains protected. An LLC, or limited liability company, is one of the simplest tools. When you buy rental property, you place it inside an LLC. If someone sues over an injury on that property, they can only target the LLC, not your personal assets. Your home, your car, your other investments remain untouchable. This is not about being dishonest. This is about being smart. Trusts operate similarly but with additional benefits. A trust can hold assets on behalf of beneficiaries, removing them from your personal estate. This protects wealth from taxes, lawsuits, and even poor decisions by heirs. The Rockefellers have used trusts for generations to preserve their fortune across family lines. What works for dynasties works for individuals. But here is the critical point. You must establish these structures before you need them. Waiting until you are sued, divorced, or audited is too late. The time to build the fortress is during peace, not during war. Machiavelli was clear on this. He who has not prepared before danger cannot succeed when it arrives. So take action now. Consult with an attorney who specializes in asset protection. Establish an LLC for your business or rental property. Consider a trust if you have significant assets or children you want to protect. These steps cost money up front, yes, but they save fortunes later. And more importantly, they send a signal to the universe that you are serious about protecting what you build. This brings us to the sixth rule, and it is one that most people violate every single day without realizing the cost. Rule number 6 is to guard your words as fiercely as your money. Machiavelli warned that men are so simple and so ready to obey present necessities that he who deceives will always find those who allow themselves to be deceived. In other words, people are waiting for you to reveal your plans so they can either copy them, sabotage them, or position themselves to benefit from them. Every time you talk about your investments, your income, your strategies, you are giving away leverage. You are inviting opinions you did not ask for. You are opening yourself to judgment, envy, and interference. The smart move is to say nothing. Let people wonder. Let them assume. Let them underestimate you. This is especially true with family and friends. These are the people most likely to feel entitled to your success. The moment they know you have money, they will begin creating narratives about why you owe them. They will remember favors from years ago. They will invent emergencies that require your financial intervention. And if you refuse, they will label you selfish, greedy, or changed. The solution is to never let them know in the first place. When they ask how you are doing financially, be vague. When they inquire about your job or investments, deflect. When they probe into your lifestyle, downplay it. You are not lying. You are simply refusing to participate in a conversation that serves no purpose except to expose you. Machiavelli himself practiced this ruthlessly. He shared his true thoughts only in private letters, never in public forums. He understood that the moment you speak, you create opportunities for enemies. Silence, on the other hand, creates mystery, and mystery is a form of power. So train yourself to speak less about money. Do not brag about wins. Do not complain about losses. Do not share your strategies. Let your results speak for themselves, and only to those who need to know, because the person who talks the least often controls the most. This principle extends into the seventh rule, one that flips conventional wisdom on its head. Rule number 7 is to give, but only in shadows. Machiavelli observed that liberality exercised in a way that does not bring you the reputation for it injures you. He meant that if you give publicly, people will expect more. But if you give privately, you build goodwill without creating entitlement. Charity done for recognition is not generosity, it is marketing. The wealthy understand this. They donate anonymously, fund projects without their name attached, help individuals without broadcasting it. This serves two purposes. First, it protects them from being seen as a resource to exploit. Second, it builds invisible networks of gratitude and loyalty. When you help someone privately, they remember. They feel genuine gratitude because the help was not performative. This creates alliances that last far longer than any public gesture. And these alliances become valuable later in ways you cannot predict. But there is another reason to give in shadows. It keeps your wealth invisible. The moment you donate publicly, people begin calculating your net worth. They start positioning themselves for the next donation. You become a target for every cause, every sob story, every manipulative pitch. Private giving avoids all of this. So when you choose to be generous, and you should, do it quietly, help without announcing, give without expecting credit. This is not about being humble. This is about being strategic. Because the most powerful acts are the ones no one sees coming. Now, as your wealth grows and your systems mature, you will face a new challenge. The people around you will begin to change, or more accurately, you will begin to see them clearly. This brings us to the 8th rule. Rule number 8 is to curate your circle with ruthless precision. Machiavelli wrote that the first method for estimating the intelligence of a ruler is to look at the men he has around him. Your wealth will only grow as fast as the quality of people you allow into your life. Surround yourself with consumers and you will consume. Surround yourself with builders and you will build. Most people are anchored by their social circle. They earn more, but their friends pressure them too. Spend more, they try to invest, but their family mocks them for being cheap. They attempt to grow, but their environment pulls them back to mediocrity. This is not support. This is sabotage disguised as love. You must be willing to distance yourself from people who do not share your values. This does not mean you become cold or arrogant. It means you become selective. You stop spending time with people who glorify debt, mock discipline, or treat ambition as a personality flaw. You start gravitating toward those who read, invest, build, and guard their privacy. This is one of the hardest rules to follow because it often means isolating yourself temporarily. You may find that your old friends no longer understand you. Your family may accuse you of changing, and they are right. You are changing. You are becoming someone who controls their destiny instead of complaining about it. Machiavelli would tell you that this is necessary. He believed that a prince must sometimes act alone without the comfort of consensus. The same applies to wealth. You cannot build an empire by committee. You cannot achieve financial independence while seeking approval from people who are financially dependent. So evaluate your circle honestly. Who encourages your growth? Who drains your energy? Who celebrates your wins without envy? Who asks thoughtful questions instead of making judgments? These are the people worth keeping. Everyone else is a distraction. And this leads us to the 9th and final rule, the one that determines whether your wealth becomes a fleeting moment or a lasting legacy. Rule number 9 is to evolve faster than the world changes. Machiavelli believed that fortune is a river, and while you cannot control the current, you can build channels to direct it. In financial terms, this means you must never stop learning. The strategies that work today may not work tomorrow. The systems that generate wealth now may become obsolete in a decade. Your survival depends on your ability to adapt. The wealthy are obsessed with knowledge. Warren Buffett reads for hours every day. Charlie Munger built his fortune on multidisciplinary learning. Ray Dalio studies history, economics, and psychology to understand market cycles. They are not smarter than you. They are simply more committed to understanding how the world works. You must do the same. Read books on finance, psychology, history, strategy. Study the patterns of wealth creation across centuries. Learn how taxes work, how markets move, how human behavior drives economic decisions. Every piece of knowledge you acquire is a tool you can use to protect and grow your wealth. But here is the key. Do this quietly. Do not announce every book you read or every course you take. Do not become the person who constantly lectures others about what they should be doing. Learn in silence. Apply in silence. Let your results be the only announcement. Machiavelli himself was a scholar who studied Rome, Greece, and the great leaders of history. He did not do this for entertainment. He did it to extract principles that could be applied to his own time. You must approach learning the same way. Every lesson is a weapon. Every insight is armor. And as you evolve, you will notice something strange. The world will begin to feel smaller. The problems that once seemed overwhelming will become manageable. The people who once intimidated you will reveal themselves as ordinary. You will move through life with a quiet confidence that others cannot explain because they do not see the foundation you have built. This is the ultimate result of following these 9 rules. You become untouchable. Not because you are invincible, but because you are invisible. Your wealth grows in silence. Your influence expands without announcement. Your security deepens without display. And when others finally realize what you have built, it will be far too late for them to replicate it. So here is what you do next. You take these rules and you begin applying them immediately. Not tomorrow, not next week, today. Choose one rule and implement it. Maybe you start by automating an investment. Maybe you delete a social media app. Maybe you consult an attorney about forming an LLC. The specific action matters less than the commitment to begin, because here is the truth that Machiavelli understood better than anyone. Fortune does not reward the hesitant. It rewards those who act with clarity and speed. The world is full of people who know what they should do but never do it. They read, they nod, they agree, and then they return to the same patterns that keep them trapped. You are not one of them. You would not have watched this far if you were. You are someone who understands that the game is real, that the stakes are high, and that the only way to win is to play by rules most people do not even know exist. So play the game. Build your wealth in silence. Protect it with structure. Grow it with systems. And let the world continue believing you are just like everyone else. Because by the time they realize the truth, you will already be beyond their reach.